It all started with a death. In the quiet shadows of a forgotten graveyard, a single act set everything in motion. A moment that would echo through generations. José Arcadio Buendía killed Prudencio Aguilar, defending his honor in a violent, desperate duel. The clash of steel was not just a fight, but the birth of a tragedy. But death didn't end the story. It began a curse. The air itself seemed to thicken, as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for the consequences to unfold. The ghost of Prudencio haunted the Buendias, a constant reminder of their sin. His presence lingered in every dark corner, whispering guilt and regret. To escape, José Arcadio and his wife Ursula fled, leading followers through the jungle, searching for peace. Each step forward was a step away from the past, but the jungle was thick with memories. But you can't outrun your own blood. The stain of violence clung to them, invisible but inescapable, seeping into the roots of their new life. Ursula feared their children would be born with a pig's tail, a monstrous sign of their forbidden love as cousins. Her fear was more than superstition, it was a shadow over every hope. This fear was the first stone in the foundation of their new home. Every brick, every wall was built with anxiety and longing for redemption. They founded Macondo, a town built on hope and denial. The settlers dreamed of a fresh start, but the past clung to them like the humid air. But the past has a way of catching up. Shadows moved at the edge of the village, and old fears crept in with the night. Macondo was isolated, a world of secrets. The jungle pressed in, keeping the outside world at bay, but also trapping the family within. The Buendia family became prisoners of their own destiny. Their home was both a refuge and a prison, filled with unspoken words and hidden pain. Darkness settled in from the start, not just ghosts, but a deeper loneliness. The silence of the night was heavy, filled with longing and regret. Each new Buendia was born into this legacy, carrying the weight of secrets. Even the youngest felt the burden, their lives shaped by stories they could not escape. They were destined to repeat mistakes, to love the wrong people, to chase impossible dreams. The cycle of hope and heartbreak spun on, generation after generation. The curse was alive, and it was hungry. It fed on their desires, their fears, and their endless search for meaning. Macondo was not a sanctuary, but a beautiful cage. The walls kept danger out, but also kept the family's sorrow in. The family's obsessions and fears grew in the shadows. Whispers became rumors, and rumors became truths that shaped their fate. Every child inherited the family's loneliness and madness. The curse was not just a story, it was a sickness passed from parent to child. The Buendias were marked from the beginning. Their faces in old portraits seemed to know the sorrow that was coming. Their paradise was always just out of reach. Happiness glimmered on the other side of locked gates, always unattainable. The ghost was only the beginning. The real curse was in their blood. It flowed through every generation, binding them to the past. The town's isolation let secrets fester. With no escape, the truth twisted and grew, poisoning their dreams. The Buendias were trapped, doomed to repeat their own history. Every echo in the hallway was a reminder of mistakes yet to come. The curse was not just a haunting, it was a destiny. It shaped their lives, their loves, and their losses, and it would last 100 years. For a century, the Buendias would live and relive the same story, unable to break free from the shadow of the first sin. Macondo was a town of whispers, where every shadow seemed to carry a story, and every corner hid a memory no one dared to speak aloud. It was built on fear and secrets, its foundations laid not just with stone, but with the weight of things left unsaid. Ursula's terror of the pig's tail haunted every birth, a silent dread that crept into the hearts of mothers and fathers alike. She checked each child, her hands trembling, dreading the day when the family's ancient sin would finally reveal itself in flesh and blood. The secret was the town's true name, never spoken aloud, as if uttering it would awaken something best left forgotten. The arrival of the gypsies changed everything, bringing with them the scent of distant lands and the promise of impossible wonders. Melquiades, their enigmatic leader, brought wonders, magnets that danced, ice that burned with cold, and ancient knowledge that shimmered just out of reach. To José Arcadio Buendía, these were not just curiosities, but clues to the universe's deepest mysteries, signs that the world was larger and stranger than Macondo's borders. He became obsessed, locking himself away for days, scribbling notes by candlelight, desperate to decipher the world's secrets and unlock the code of existence itself. This obsession cracked the family's sanity, turning love into suspicion and hope into fear as the line between genius and madness blurred. Melquiades left behind mysterious parchments, said to contain the Buendia family's entire history, written before it happened, as if fate itself had already been decided. The idea that fate was already written terrified them, making every choice feel like a step along a path they could not change. The parchments became the family's most dangerous secret, hidden away, guarded with fear, as if reading them might bring disaster. The town grew, new houses rising from the mist, but so did the secrets, multiplying in the shadows, weaving themselves into every wall and window. The Buendía house stood at the center, a place of wonder and dread, where laughter and weeping echoed through the halls in equal measure. Miracles and tragedies happened side by side, as if the house itself was caught in a storm of fate. For every miracle, a tragedy waited in the wings, reminding the family that joy and sorrow were forever entwined. Secrets piled up, threatening to crush the town beneath their weight, as if the past could never truly be buried. Macondo was not just a place, it was a prison of secrets, its people trapped by the stories they could not tell. The family's fate was a script they could not escape, each generation repeating the same mistakes, unable to break free. The town's silence hid 1,000 fears, each one growing stronger in the darkness. The Buendias lived in suspense, waiting for the next secret to surface, knowing that every revelation brought both hope and danger. In Macondo, the past was never truly gone. It lingered in every photograph, every diary, every whispered word, shaping the future in ways no one could predict. The Buendía house was crowded with ghosts, some dead, some living. Every corner seemed to echo with whispers from the past, and the air was thick with memories that refused to fade away. José Arcadio Buendía, lost to madness, became a living ghost, tied to a chestnut tree. His days blurred into nights, and he drifted between reality and dreams, his mind wandering through forgotten memories. His presence was a chilling reminder of where obsession leads. The family could not ignore him, nor could they reach him, and his silence weighed heavily on their hearts. The family learned to live with him, stepping around his madness. They spoke in hushed tones, careful not to disturb the fragile peace that hung over the house. The dead returned not to haunt, but to linger, offering warnings no one understood. Their presence was felt in cold drafts and flickering candlelight, in dreams that left the living restless. Melchiades, the gypsy, returned from death, blurring the line between life and dream. He brought with him secrets written in indecipherable codes, and stories that seemed to come from another world. In the Buendía house, death was just a change of address. The boundaries between the living and the dead faded, and the house became a crossroads for souls unable to move on. The dead were as much a part of the family as the living. Their stories, regrets, and unfinished business shaped the lives of those who remained. This constant presence created tension and loneliness. Each family member carried their own ghosts, both real and imagined, and the weight of the past pressed down on them all. Surrounded by spirits, the family could not connect with the living world. Their conversations were filled with silences, and their laughter was tinged with sorrow. The house became their world, filled with silent, watchful eyes. Every shadow seemed to hold a secret, and every room echoed with footsteps from the past. The supernatural burden twisted their perceptions and fueled their darkest impulses. Reality and fantasy merged, and the line between sanity and madness grew thin. Colonel Aureliano Buendía feared not death, but endless solitude. He saw in the ghosts a reflection of his own fate, a life spent searching for meaning in a world that offered only silence. The ghosts were not monsters, they were proof there was no escape. They were reminders of promises broken, of love lost, and of time that could never be reclaimed. The family was trapped in a cycle of loneliness and regret. Each generation inherited the burdens of the last, unable to break free from the shadows that haunted them. The Buendía house was a world of its own, haunted by memory. Its walls held the secrets of generations, and its rooms were filled with echoes of laughter and tears. In Macondo, even the dead could not leave. The past clung to the present, and the Buendía family remained forever bound to their haunted home. Melchiades' parchments were the heart of the family's mystery. Locked away for decades, they promised to reveal the Buendía's fate. Written in a language no one could read, they became a puzzle and a curse. The family knew their destiny was sealed in those pages. Generations tried to decipher them, losing themselves to obsession. The Prophecies' power was not in its words, but in the madness it inspired. The parchments were a trap, and the family walked right in. Disasters, wars, massacres, floods felt preordained as if written in advance. The family felt like puppets, helpless to change their fate. The prophecy would only be revealed when the last Buendía was born. The truth would bring annihilation. The only way to know their story was to end it. The Buendías lived on borrowed time, the clock ticking toward destruction. Macondo's peace shattered with the arrival of war. Colonel Aureliano Buendía fought in 32 wars, losing them all. War became his obsession, hollowing him out. The conflict was senseless, turning brother against brother. Arcadio, left in charge, became a tyrant, twisting the family's name into something feared. The war revealed the darkness in their hearts. Violence became part of daily life, firing squads, betrayals, executions. The 17 sons of Aureliano, all named Aureliano, were hunted and murdered. The war was not distant, it was personal, stalking the family in their own home. Even after the wars ended, the scars remained. No one remembered why it started, it was just another chapter in their cursed story. Human cruelty became as inescapable as any supernatural curse. The whispers of war never faded, they became part of Macondo's silence. The family learned that violence could destroy as surely as any ghost. In the Buendía family, love was always dangerous, often forbidden, always doomed. Amaranta's rivalry with Rebecca poisoned her life, leading to self-inflicted misery. The men were driven by obsession, falling for their own relatives. Incest became the family's darkest secret, a step closer to their prophesied end. The arrival of the banana company brought a new betrayal, promising prosperity, delivering exploitation. The massacre of striking workers was erased from history, plunging Macondo into denial. José Arcadio II tried to tell the truth, but no one believed him. The town's collective amnesia was a betrayal of memory itself. Macondo was left in confusion and silence, hiding a terrible crime. The storm of betrayal washed over the town, leaving only secrets. The Buendias were left with nothing but the certainty that something terrible was being hidden. After the massacre, Macondo was gripped by forgetting. The truth was erased, the dead forgotten. The Buendía family faded with the town's memory, their house decayed, their history lost. Then came the rain, 4 years, 11 months, and 2 days. The flood was a punishment, dissolving the town and its sins. The family locked themselves away, sinking into solitude. The rain mirrored their despair, the world shrank around them. When the rain stopped, Macondo was a ruin, the family nearly extinct. The silence that followed was deafening, a ghost town silence. The Buendias were trapped in oblivion, erased not by a bang but by a slow fade. The suspense was gone, only silence remained. The curse had reached its final stage, forgetting. In the final generation, the past returned with a vengeance. Aureliano Babylonia, hidden from the world, was the family's last secret. Raised in solitude, he lived among ghosts and unread parchments. He fell in love with his aunt, Amaranta Ursula. Neither knew they were related. Their love seemed pure, a chance to break the curse. But their child was born with a pig's tail, the family's oldest fear realized. The curse had come full circle. Amaranta Ursula died in childbirth. Aureliano wandered the ruined town. He returned to find his son eaten by ants, the prophecy fulfilled in horror. The first of the line was tied to a tree, the last was devoured. The circle was complete. The secret of the pig's tail was both origin and end. Alone, Aureliano finally turned to the parchments. He now knew he could read them. The end was near. Alone, Aureliano Babylonia unlocked the secret of the parchments. They chronicled every moment of the Buendía family, past, present, and future. He realized he was reading his own life as it happened. The family was trapped in a loop, condemned to solitude. Their passions were selfish, their loves destructive. The act of reading triggered the prophecy's end. A biblical wind began to tear Macondo apart. The house, the town, the memories, all were erased. Aureliano read to the end, knowing he would die as he finished. The Buendias were not just doomed to die, they were doomed to be forgotten. The lesson was clear. A family condemned to solitude was never meant to survive.